Most people struggle to describe their business or product in a simple way that instantly attracts their ideal customer. So let me share a simple framework that might help. It's day 11 and I'm Craig Dew, and 0 to Million is a series following the business growth of Rev Levers and the vegan brands we help through education-based branding. So our brains are wired for stories, being humans, and so it makes it easier to communicate with people when we tell stories, and it's a simple framework that we can use in order to get information through to other people and have them remember it. And so have you ever had a friend who's shared a meandering story with you that kind of goes all over the place and you're not really sure what they're trying to communicate or what the point is? And you might get there in the end, but you're not really sure, and it's quite long and boring. Well, that's how most people talk about their businesses. It's like, oh, what do you do? Well, we're like a plumbing company and we fix pipes, and sometimes we work with schools and businesses and stuff like that, but also we go to customers' house and unclog. It's like, what are you doing? Like, just try to simplify your message and get it in a nice, clear way. And so the framework I'm going to share comes from StoryBrand. So there's a book by Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand, and he teaches people how to be a certified consultant in this and walk you through it and that kind of thing. I am not a certified consultant. I just read the book and I use this framework. From time to time, I use it mostly on my webpage, like homepage. There I find it useful for that, and other places as you'll see as we go through it. So basically, to go through the framework, and it just follows the traditional way of telling a story. So there's lots of different books on how to write stories and that kind of thing, and this is the hero's journey formula that you'll see in other formats. So you have a character who has a problem, who meets a guide who gives them a plan that can cause them to action, which leads to success and avoids failure, is basically how it works. So let's explain that in terms of some examples so you can kind of put it into context and make sense. So let's start with movies, and I hopefully pick some that you might know the storyline to. Some of them are older because I'm older, but oh well. So Star Wars: A New Hope, right? So you have a character. So the first bit is Luke Skywalker. So he has a problem, and it's his uncle and auntie just got murdered. And so he doesn't really know what to do with his life and what's going on. So he meets a guide, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who calls him to action to say, hey, come and learn to be a Jedi and you can help defeat the evil Empire, and then which has killed his aunt and uncle, which results in success. And so he shoots the little torpedo down the tube and blows up the Death Star and saves the universe from the Empire, the evil Empire. Or it could end in failure. He could miss the shot and the Death Star takes over and the Empire rules the world. And so nice simple movie formula to understand how this all comes together, and we'll talk about it in terms of business in a second as well. Second one, the Karate Kid. So character, Ralph Macchio plays, completely forgotten his name for some reason right at this moment, Daniel LaRusso, right? And so he has a problem. He's getting picked on by bullies, so he needs to defeat the bullies. He meets a guide, which is Mr. Miyagi, who gives him a plan: learn karate, the old traditional way, and calls them to action. So he puts him into the tournament to fight against his bullies, which will either lead in success, he'll beat his bullies and they'll leave him alone forever, or end in failure, he'll get beaten up, considered like ongoing, or never stand up for himself and be embarrassed in front of everyone at the tournament and stuff like that. So the stakes are high. Third example for movies we'll use, so Die Hard, since it's Christmas time and it's a Christmas movie. So John McClane goes to his wife's Christmas party basically, and is stuck in a building. So he has a problem. It gets taken over by terrorists, and then he meets a guide. So he gets basically in touch with Al, who's the police officer who's on the outside of the building, and gives him a plan of they kind of work out together on how they're going to defeat the terrorists and stop what's going on. And basically he gets called to action by Al, who says, hey, the FBI are here and they're coming into the building, so you need to defeat the terrorists now. So you either defeat the terrorists and save your wife, or the terrorists are going to kill you and your wife and everyone in the building. And so those formulas like run through all movies and that we watch. It's a hero's journey. There's other movie formulas and stuff. There's a book, Save the Cat, if you're really interested in all the different formulas, which is very interesting too, but doesn't really help you with your business. It's just fun to think about how we might explain our business. And so if you think about your character as your customer, your ideal customer, and they're overcoming a problem, you can see how this kind of applies. So in our business, I'll read the one-liner that I've been working on at the moment, and obviously there's a slightly longer version on the website, but it's trying to keep this as simple as possible so people get it. And so we help vegan businesses challenge the industrial food system using education-based branding so they can make a meaningful impact. And so if we look at that, so we've got the character as like the vegan business owner. It could be a marketing manager in a vegan business for us as well. So it's like that vegan business basically. They've got a problem, they've got to challenge the industrial food system. So with only 1% of Americans being vegan, like there's 99% of people who aren't going to buy a vegan product just because it's vegan. So if you want to get on store shelves and things like that, it becomes very difficult. Because 99% of the people probably won't buy it. And there's obviously some leakage from the vegan group into people who are a bit more conscious consumers and stuff like that. But that's a real problem. And so we act as a guide to help people understand how to do that. And our plan is education-based branding, which educates people about why the products are better. It's a little bit about veganism, but it's mostly about why products are better and why it's not inferior choice to pick a vegan product over what you might normally purchase. And so we're calling people to action in our business to come and work with us so we can grow their brand and make it massively successful, which is the success level. And if they don't, it's likely that they're going to be confused and frustrated and not be able to make an impact with their brand. Like lots of vegan brands go out of business because they can't get this formula right. And so that's like in a nutshell, to repeat the sentence. So we help vegan businesses challenge the industrial food system and using education-based branding, that's our plan, to make a meaningful impact. And that's success for them is to make an impact and grow a big business and a big brand, but to make an impact with consumers. And so hopefully there's a way there'll be a way that you can describe your business like that as well, and use this format for it. And if you look at most big businesses, they have a story. Sometimes it's very blatant and sometimes it's a bit more hidden, that they go through and they tell about a character and how they help you as the ideal customer or the character be successful in life. So if you wanted to, I'll fire some off the top of my head. I haven't prepared these, but you think about like Nike. So it's an athlete. Now they're saying everyone's an athlete, but it's like an athlete. And in the early days, it was about long distance running. So it's like, we'll help you because the equipment you have, your shoes for long distance running isn't good. So that's a problem. And so we will give you better shoes so we can help that you can run faster, longer, win more races and overcome that problem. All right. Very simple. And so there's a bunch of every company kind of has that story if you think about it in that terms. It's interesting. You might have to dive down, but it's kind of cool. And so also, for an example, think about this video as well. And so character, so you're watching this, right? You're the hero in the story. And so the first bit I think was the problem of how do you clearly communicate your business so it attracts your ideal customers. So that's a problem that most people face. All right, so acting as a guide, I give you a plan, which is the story brand framework, to be able to solve that, which will allow you to be able to clearly communicate what you're doing, have success by using stories, or lead you to failure, which is like the meandering story from your friend that goes on and goes nowhere, and so people aren't going to understand and buy from you. And so you can use this framework in all kinds of different ways, even just telling your stories to your friends to make understand the framework underlying it and make your communication better. And so really the goal of this, and I guess your success measure, is to become a clear communicator so you can get more sales, so you can try using this framework to do it. and learn about story and make everything that you do and all your messaging and communication more engaging using it. So that's it for today, and we'll see you tomorrow.